Hello, everyone. This is Gruesome Herzog. My very special guest today is actor Roger Connors. What's up, Roger?
Not a thing, man. How you doing?
Great. Glad to have you on here.
I'm excited to be on, so let's get this going.
All right. Is the weather in Ohio as good as it is here in PA? Is it pretty nice up there?
You know what? We had like a heat wave for a few days. It's starting to die off. It's getting a little cold again, but it was awesome while we had it. I mean, people were out in shorts. We had I think the peak we hit was 63 degrees, which in Ohio in the middle of the winter is
crazy.
Tropical. So we were rocking that out for a little bit, but we're getting back to our standard frigid temperature.
Yeah. What was weird about that there is I actually went away without a coat on and said, damn, it's nice out here. God. Love that.
Oh, yeah. I was feeling that for sure.
And I guess, as you know, yesterday I talked to Eddie and Don from Fright Tech Pictures. We're having a giveaway for Hell Week for this whole week. So hopefully that'll, help spin some stuff out. And, of course, there's some T-shirts and some, anybody who wants to listen to it, just go to my horror podcast and click on the banner on top, Fright Tech Pictures. You order a movie for $5, and the 100th person to buy a movie gets the grand prize winnings of everything, plus they get a walk-on role of a new movie, hopefully be filming this summer. So I want to get that out of the way first before we get started. Now, Roger, obviously I got connected with you from the movie Hell Week. You were in it. You were the news reporter at the end, and of course you were stuck with that Eddie guy.
Oh yeah.
The pussy that said, "Come on, let's go." You remember that?
Yeah. No, it's funny because I originally they had filmed that movie, the greater chunk of that movie they'd filmed prior to my meeting Eddie. I just said my eating Eddie, but I'm sure would not go over that well. But no, my meeting Eddie. No, and then the ending they had when they were in the editing room, the ending that they had at that time was, to be honest, it was pretty weak. It was not really up to par with the rest of the movie. And at that point, I had just wrapped a project with Eddie and Fright Tech. And Eddie literally just called me one day. I was like, listen, I've got this part. I want you to play it. It's a cameo, but I'm really kind of desperate for someone who can pull it off. I think that you can do this and do it right. And so I was like, yeah, sure. So literally, I just went out to the set. We did it. He edited it, and the rest is history, I guess.
Now, did you watch it? Now, there's something I want to ask you about the ending. Now, I don't know if it was just normal life, but if you look past you in the background, there's a guy getting out of his truck. Now, that just happened to be there, correct? That wasn't in the movie, I'm assuming.
No, I mean,
that was neat to see.
That was the part where I'm talking into the microphone when I'm actually giving the...
Yes.
Because I'm supposed to be on a World's Scariest Places on Earth. It's supposed to be kind of a webisode kind of talk show kind of thing.
Right. And after Eddie says, let's go, the camera goes out, and in the distance you can see an 18-wheeler and a guy getting out of his truck, walking to the back of the trailer. It was so cool to see that. That must have been
I never even, yeah, that is something that I miss. I will go back. I have the DVD.
Watch it once. It's pretty weird.
So I will watch it again. I've seen it many times, and somehow that's slipped past me.
Yeah, watch
it. But
no,
it's cool that you noticed that.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
I'm a weirdo when it comes to that, so anyways.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, we can talk about one of your very first projects that you mentioned about. It's on Chiller. I'll let you discuss it. But it's called Hellementary, an Education in Death in 2009.
Yes, Hellementary. That was the first film project I ever filmed. I auditioned for it back in 2006, actually, and I don't know, at that point in my life, I just really wanted to do a horror movie. I grew up loving horror films, and so I saw the audition for it, and I kind of just went out on a whim. I'd done theater up to that point. I used to do theater a lot, but I don't know, it was just, I guess, a gut feeling. I'd only auditioned for one other film project at that point, and I didn't get cast because I was too young. I was 19 when I auditioned. The part was, they wanted someone around 30. I was up for the part, but the director just said, age range, based off of some of the context of what we're doing with the character, I don't think it would go over well. So I went out on a limb. I auditioned for Hellementary, and I remember when I auditioned and then when I was cast, one of the producer, Tammy, said to me that she had wanted a blonde male in the group, and all the other males in the cast are brunette, and so that is why they cast me. And I got paranoid that was the only reason that they cast me. Ideally, my talent. I'm hoping my talent had something to do with it. But,
right.
Yeah, I am the only blonde male in that cast. That's how you know who I am.
And, that's a little strange. I mean, you would hope that your talent is the reason why you're in a movie. But...
fingers crossed. I'm hoping that plays some game. Yeah, I'm hoping it plays something to do with it. But no, to be honest though, Hellementary, I didn't know what I was getting into with that project. And when I got on set, we were literally filming in an abandoned school. But the company behind Hellementary, 529 Films, really great group of people, very talented, very tech savvy. They know what they're doing. They know how to work their cameras. They have good equipment. I was kind of blown away by the professionalism on set with Hellementary. The actors were all awesome to work with. I made a lot of friends on that set. I've worked with several of them since.
Right.
But, no, it was really an eye-opener, and it was just very well handled. I had some really great moments filming Hellementary, and as you said earlier, it did make its national television premiere on the Chiller Channel, which is huge for me because, like I said, that was the first movie I ever did. I did not expect it to blow up to the proportion which it did.
I just went to the Facebook page for that movie, and I look at the I guess it's going to be the DVD cover or it's a profile picture. It looks like an Amish guy. A lot of people. A lot of people are convinced that it's the Quaker Oats man that that's a neat picture.
Killing the kid. Yeah, no, the actual poster is actually very eye-catching. That is one of our promo stills. That's one of the earlier posters. Cool. If you look up Hellementary, there's tons of posters online. But yeah, no, he the killer in that movie, the ghost, the entity, Josiah Krebs, is a school teacher from back when that town was just a settlement. And the story behind the movie is that one of the years during a huge snowstorm, the school basically got snowed in, and when the plow horse finally got through to the school and they got into the building, everyone was gone. The children were gone, and the teacher was gone as well. And they never reappeared. And eventually they tied in the concept that he was working with witchcraft, and that explained all the disappearances. And ever since then, after they built the new school on that territory, there had been a series of mysterious disappearances, and then finally, several years prior to the actual time frame of the movie, and you do see a segment in the movie, there is a violent murder within the school.
Wow, that has my interest big time.
Yeah, it is. It's a really fun movie. I call it a popcorn flick. It gives you everything you want. It gives you gore. It gives you a few good deaths. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. I have a few really great scenes in that movie, in the sense that were just awesome to film. I don't know. I had a really fun time on that set, and seeing it on TV was just pretty mind-blowing for me. So, I don't know. I have really great memories and nothing but good things to say about that film.
I cannot wait. Well, the next one is a short film, which I really enjoy short films now. There's a reason behind that, but I already mentioned it quite a few times in interviews. I'm not going to mention it no more. But this is called Striving for Excellence in 2008, directed by the same director of Hellementary, right? Am I correct? Andrew Smalley?
Yeah, Andrew Smalley, yes. Actually, that project is a cool little story. It was actually part of the 48-Hour Film Festival. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically what it consists of is there's several different cities all around America, different time frames throughout the year, do this thing called the 48-Hour Film Fest. And what it is the people who participate, the companies that participate, they're given 48 hours to cast their project, write their project, film it, edit it, and premiere it.
Okay.
And so what they do is they give you like several different key items that you have to work into the script, and then you basically pick out a genre. And we happened to get horror, which was our area of expertise after Hellementary. And he basically turned to a few of the actors from Hellementary that he knew were capable. Not saying everybody wasn't, but just capable of getting out to set and just being there, you know.
Right.
There are a few of the Hellementary kids in that film, and so we shot it, edited it, scored it in 2 days, and actually ended up taking first place, best film, and it won. I think overall it won 5 awards. It had the best actor. I don't know. It was a really great experience. It was really fun. It was my first time dabbling in makeup.
Right.
I mean, there's a few gore effects I got to do on that, minor, but it was like my first time really dabbling with it. And all in all, it was just a really good time. A really slick little film too. I mean, you wouldn't know it was handled in such a short time frame. So it's actually available to view on YouTube, and check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to.
It's fun. It's definitely fun. Yeah.
I'm going to. Now the next one we briefly talked about it earlier, but Hell Week in 2010. Now.
Yeah.
How you came across me as I reviewed it, and you contacted me. We started talking and shooting shit, and that's how the interview came about. But I said this to Eddie yesterday. That's to Eddie Lengyel, the director. I said, you know, when I watch this movie the first time, it's better the second time. And I explained to him why, and we briefly talked off the air why. But the movie is, I like the part. You know, it gets really good when it gets to the factory and then wholly to the end. I like the characters in the movie. You know, you have a body getting split in half in one of the first kills in the movie. I thought was neat. But it just, the characters alone in this movie, it was different. It was different than any movie that I've seen. You know, you had a little bit of the chainsaw bit. You had you know, you were the news reporter at the end, which I mentioned earlier. Now, and we don't really have to go into any more because unless you want to repeat yourself, but the experience of this movie, I mean, I know you and Eddie. Eddie is Eddie's Eddie. Eddie's a clown.
Eddie is Eddie. Is the best way to put it.
Hey, Eddie, I know you're going to listen to this interview, but I got to say one thing. Willie here, little Willie, little wee Willie, little wee Willie woo, well, whatever. But
won't go home. Yes,
but Don, he played that. What's that character he played? I don't know.
Knob. He played Knob. Yep.
Yes, he was the one that split that girl in half in the beginning of the movie. Which
he's the big baddie. Yep.
Right. I thought that was the best kill in the movie.
Yeah.
And I told Eddie yesterday. I said, you know what? It's good that you guys did that far back because of having used the CGI or whatever. To keep it, because it looked really cool from a distance. And like you heard me say in the review, JJ got under my damn skin. I was hoping that he'd be the first one killed.
Yeah, but, I hear that a lot, but I think that was
on purpose.
One of the things that you said about the characters, and I have a different feel. I think one of the things about Hell Week, and I've heard this so many times, is the characters in the film, the protagonists, are not really likable. You're actually, I feel you're rooting for a lot of them to die, and it's not because it's written badly, and it's not because it's acted badly. It's just it's a different take. I feel a different take on the protagonist. At some points, and I feel you're expressing this right now, you're almost rooting for the villains because the kids are such douchebags. So you're kind of wanting them to get it, and the reason I think that you want JJ to die so bad is you see so much of him. He's in so much of the movie. So, and he's a jerk. He's a complete jerk. Which is funny because the actor that plays him is not. Rob Yeager is a very cool guy. I've met him on several occasions, and he is nothing like JJ. Just to clarify for viewers. So I guess that means he played his part right, and he played it well. But no, I've heard that from many people.
Yep.
About the characters. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I made sure that I mentioned that in my review, that it's not the actor, it's the character. It's like, he played a role good, but, man, he got into somewhat womanizer and God knows whatever else, but but the acting was good.
He's the ultimate frat boy.
The acting was good. Now, I did mention in a review, which everybody sure heard of it, I said that at some point some of the characters get a little boring. and that's any movie. I mean, it's...
Yeah. There's a lot of exposition. There is a lot of exposition.
Right.
Which is, I mean, I won't be honest, I appreciate that about, the script. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say a lot could have been skimmed, but at the same time, at least when characters are dying off, I have something that I reference as the sacrificial lamb syndrome in horror films, where there's characters who are written just to die.
Right.
And you see that so often that I think it's kind of refreshing that you get so much backstory and exposition on all these kids. I don't think there's one of the leads that you don't know something unique about them. I mean, for instance, I know Stephanie, one of the brunettes, Stephanie, has the whole series with the dream sequences that she's having, and they go into that. And the character of Bree, you get the whole backstory that she just moved back from, I think, New York, and that, she's kind of resettling into town, and everyone kind of has this aspect of their own life that's kind of brought into the movie, so they're not just there to get killed off. You learn something about them, you learn about their personalities. Right. You might learn too much. I don't think so. I think it's refreshing that you get to see more than just their face before they're killed off. Well, for 10 seconds on the screen.
Well, one thing that Eddie brought to my attention yesterday that I totally forgot all about it in my review is the goth girl down in the basement.
Skates, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of guys like her.
Yeah.
She's a unique experience. No, I've never actually met the actress, but from what I've heard, she's one of the favorite moments in the film. Of course, I've heard nothing but male reviews, so I'm not shocked.
Right.
But she's pleasing to the eye for the guys.
Yeah.
And she brings a cool little twist to the movie too. I think it's unexpected. Right. I love her voice personally too. When you say the term "gets under your skin," her voice is that shrill, gravelly tone, and I don't know. That scene registers well with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the next movie, it's coming out sometime later on. Voodoo Rising.
Voodoo.
I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I can't wait. Of course, Donnie plays the cop in there, which I have a rule in my podcast that I don't interview anybody that plays cops. So, Don, you're out of luck, buddy. Sorry. No.
Unfortunate.
I said at him yesterday. But, yes, Voodoo Rising. Do you want to share your experience with this movie? I mean, I don't want you to give too much away because, I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, no, by all means. I mean, I would love to talk about Voodoo. I enjoy Voodoo. I think it's going to be a fun little project once it actually premieres. It has been in the works for a while, is the thing. It was my first project with Crytek Pictures. I remember I auditioned at their last audition, and when I went out for the audition, it was right after Hellementary had wrapped, and the trailer had just premiered for Hellementary, and it had created a huge buzz in the local film scene. The trailer, I mean, if you check it out, it's on YouTube. It's very slick. It's cut very well. It does not look independent. And right after that, my career, at least within the local scene, kind of started taking off. I had lots of offers for parts, just based off that alone, which was very cool. And if you notice, 4 of the actors from Hellementary are in Voodoo Rising. I think Eddie was hoping to scoop up as many of them as he could because of the potential star power that could come from it.
Right.
Not bragging or anything, but I'm just saying I think that was the assumption that was made. And I mean,
smart.
hey, it's on TV now, so yeah, that's how the business goes, which was flattering. And so when I went out for the audition, he actually, the character that I play in Voodoo was not in the original script. There were originally 6 kids, and then it was up to 8. He wrote in a character for me when he found out that I was gay. He openly stated he'd always wanted a gay character in one of his films. And he has this thing about comedic minorities in his movies. Eddie has a sense of humor that is just so 1985. Like,
wow.
He loves that kind of frat boy humor, and I'm all about it. I think it's hilarious. You see a good amount of it in How Weak. How Weak definitely balances its horror with its humor, But so in Voodoo, it's a very different feel from Halloween. It's a backwoods film, and he wanted a gay character, and I was more than willing to appease him. The Hellementary, I had played the complete opposite, and so I was totally willing to take on a gay role. And the character that I play in Voodoo is certainly gay. You will see that in the trailer, and eventually you will see that in the film. His name is Porter, and he, words I would use to describe him would be fabulous, hostile, unhappy. He's always complaining about camping. He is not one with nature. And he's the kind of character that, even though they're in the middle of the woods, half the time you see him, he's putting on eyeliner or foundation or changing his wardrobe. Oh. So he's a prima donna of the film. But he definitely adds an aspect of humor that I think is refreshing.
Right.
He definitely stands out in the group of kids. But I will say that I feel the entire cast, everyone is very individual, and that's one of the things I've liked about the film from the beginning. None of the leads blend together. Everyone has their own personality, and I don't know. I really like the overall the character selections that were made for this movie, and I think Porter just adds to it and enhances it. I think audiences will respond to him. I hope.
Well,
we will see.
You mentioned about Eddie's humor.
Yes.
I actually found somebody with my personality, and when he calls me or I call him, it's a laugh fest.
Oh, I've experienced these regularly.
And
that guy, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He can crack jokes a mile a minute.
And if you want to tell the listeners, what does Eddie call you? What name?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me start this off by just explaining that I think Eddie, I think he's fond of the fact that I am his gay friend, because Eddie is as straight as they come.
Right.
Eddie is 100% man. But he, I've never met somebody so open, just to people. But in his openness, he's also completely open to make fun of you. So he lovingly called me Mary. He'll impersonate my voice a lot. He'll be like, "Oh my God, that's horrible." Which I don't think I sound that dramatic. But in Eddie's world, I guess I register as a drag queen on meth 24/7, which I'm fine with. I love it. Our friendship is a very strong one, and I love Eddie's humor. It's one of his finest qualities, among many.
Well, see, here's the thing: if he didn't like you, he wouldn't joke with you. That's how I look at it.
True?
That's how I look at it.
And I agree with that, and I appreciate that. I think everyone needs a sense of humor. As a gay male, I love nothing more than being made fun of. I'll tell you that right now. And Eddie, he dishes it out. So,
well, yeah.
And you know what? I'm all about that. I'm all about it. He's hilarious.
Well, when I was talking to him yesterday, and that Don Kilrain guy was there.
Oh, Don.
I said to him yesterday, it's funny, I don't have to meet somebody. All I got to do is just hear them for a couple seconds to where I can get their personality. And usually I can sense it's weird. And I just started busting his balls before I even started talking to him. I don't know what it was. But he fired.
I'm sure Eddie appreciated that. Yeah.
Oh,
Don will fire back. Well, as Don and Eddie have that kind of relationship, they are always cracking on each other. So I feel that I have maybe sided on Team Eddie here, which is it will bring a unique dynamic to this chemistry here that's been established. I'm curious to see how Don responds. But no, I think that's hilarious. I support that. 110%.
Yeah, it's the thing, in this kind of business, interviewing and reviewing movies, I tend to take it serious, but then there's times where I like to have some fun with it too, because I don't want to be no itty bitty perfect work week. I like to have a little fun with it. I like to do interviews where I can get the person's actual character out. I don't want this, lame stuff.
You don't want blasé.
Right.
You don't want to stay boring and stagnant. I feel you.
Just have fun and let it flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's what we're doing right now.
Exactly right. you know. But the next movie, which we can't talk too much about, I was talking to Eddie about it yesterday, is The Melonheads in 2011.
Yep.
And then after this here, if you got any other projects you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to. And it don't have to be horror either. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Melons. Yeah, I can't go too much into Melons. Melonheads was my third film with Freitag. I have worked with other companies, I swear to God. Melonheads, I originally almost was not involved with Melonheads due to prior conflicts. I was filming over the summer, and there were other factors that just made it kind of impossible for me to originally audition and sign on for the film. But it's one of those situations that I feel was kind of in the cards for me to be part of it. I love working with Eddie, and I mean, not only is he one of my best friends, but we have such a great time on set. That humor carries over on the set, and about halfway into the production of Melonheads, I'm not going to go too much into the story. I'm not going to really give a lot away, but one of the actors ended up moving, and his schedule was running tight, and so Eddie had this one character that he kind of had to kill off earlier than he had originally written, and he wanted to kind of have another character to carry through the last chunk of the movie, the second chunk. And so he threw me a call, and he's like, I know your schedule's kind of tight, but you think we can work this out? And the movie I was filming at the time was actually wrapping up, and it worked out. And I ended up filming a few weeks with them. I played who is completely the opposite of Porter, which I love. I like being versatile with my characters. I like, I don't want to play the same thing. I used to be terrified of being, kind of stuck with the title of gay actor because I was afraid that people would, throw me in that niche and I wouldn't be able to get out of it. But I think I've proven that I can do more than that, and Tony is definitely an all-American Italian frat boy. And I got on set, and it kind of took off, and the character became a lot bigger than I expected him to be, which I'm totally cool with. But there are some great scenes in that film. I have an epic chase sequence.
Nice.
I don't know. I think it's a very different feel, a different energy than Eddie's last two movies. I think he tried something a little bit different. It's got a serious tone to it.
Right.
And so I don't know. I don't want to say that fans will not be receptive. I think it might draw a different crowd than the last two movies. Not saying that the fans of the last two movies will not enjoy it, but I think that people who might not have responded to that loud, excessive humor of Hell Week, that rowdy kind of humor, people who might not have liked that, because I've read a few reviews that were like, this is extreme, this is more than I can handle, this humor is unnecessary, it's over the top. I've heard all these things. I think that they might find Melonheads refreshing and see that Eddie can do more than just that frat boy kind of humor.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to give too much away with the storyline. I don't really want to spill too much.
Yeah,
But you know what? I think it's going to be a good project. I'm really excited to see the final cut.
But there's two people in the movie, though, in Melonheads, that I find interesting. Kaylee Williams, she plays Shelley, and Sean C. Phillips.
Yes. This was Eddie's first. Attempt at bringing in out-of-towners for one of his projects, which was a huge step for him.
Yep.
Normally he stuck to the Cleveland area, and I know, Freitag is kind of taking off. They've got, Hell Week is on Netflix now. It's available for stream, so you can just go on and check it out for all you listeners who have not seen Hell Week. But I mean, Freitag is starting to establish a name, which is awesome. There are reviews everywhere for Hell Week, and Voodoo's getting a buzz, so why not? I mean, the point of dipping your toes into the independent movie scene is ideally to grow as a filmmaker and to make better projects. You don't want to keep making movies on the same level every single time. You want to grow. And in Melons, one thing he did do was he upped the ante with his cast, I feel.
Right.
I was flattered to be part of it because I do feel that it is a strong cast, and I do feel that Eddie was very specific with who he asked to be involved with it, and so I am flattered that he asked me to come aboard.
That's good. Now, you have some newer projects, right? That's not listed yet?
Yeah, I do. I do have a few projects that are, one is in post-production right now, and one is actually in production. You will probably see them on IMDb within the next few weeks. The one movie I filmed over the tail end of summer into the fall was entitled Dark of Moon. It was my first non-horror film, which was a very unique experience. Well, no, I strike that. It was not my first non-horror film. I did do a movie, one of my first projects that is, I consider disposable for my resume, so we won't talk about it, but I've experienced non-horror movies. This was my first major part in a non-horror film.
Okay.
And it was a really fun experience. The concept is kind of out there, but I embraced that, and that's why I took the part. It's about a group of friends, 5 friends, who had grown up together, were kind of the outcasts in high school. They were Wiccans, and now they're 20-somethings, and they're still practicing Wiccan, and I think they're kind of coming to terms with the fact that they are living what is considered kind of an alternative lifestyle, and coming to terms with their religions, also coming to terms with, managing their relationships with each other, and, finding love in their lives too, and balancing all those aspects of their lives together. And, like I said, I took the project because I thought it was unique. You don't see a lot of movies dabbling in this area.
Right.
And when it comes to independent films, one thing people respond to is areas that, topic matters that are not really projected on the screen that often. You want something that could grab people's interest, and I think Dark of Moon is going to do that because it's something that people haven't seen before. The only time you see anything witchcraft or Wiccan is in the movie The Craft,
right.
Or I mean, there's maybe I can name like 3 or 4 films or TV shows that have, discussed that religion and that genre of people. And other than that, there's just really not much covering that area. And so I thought that was really cool to do a project that really, really delved deep into that religion and that group of people. And I had a really great experience. I met some awesome people. I worked with some very, very talented people. I'm really excited to see the final project.
Right.
Very excited. Yeah.
All right. And you mentioned you got another project too?
Yeah. This one I'm very pumped to talk about because it just started production. The name of the film is Chill, straight to the point. It is a slasher, which is one of my favorite genres of horror. And it's my first top billing role. I mean, I've had major characters, I've played supporting leads, but this is my first top billing lead, and I'm so excited. I mean, aside from that, it's just an awesome script, very talented cast, talented crew. I don't know, I see nothing but good things for this project. The basic storyline, I'll just throw it out there really quick. It deals with a few kids on this who attend this college who are involved in a local history and lore class. And one of the kids, for his final project, is doing a report on this game that used to be played on campus called Chill. And it was a tradition back in the 80s and the 90s. It became a huge deal amongst the kids on campus. They would go out to a random location, they would select the kids who would play it, and they would basically lock them in overnight and play this game. And the goal was to find out who had been assigned the killer, because nobody in the building knew who had been assigned the killer, and then either find out who the killer is by the end of the game, or else everyone gets killed and the killer wins.
Oh, wow.
And so during one of these games, next day, when the rest of the kids went into the building, they found everyone who had been playing the game dead. No, never found out who the killer was, but the game basically went wrong. It's banned on campus. It's not allowed to be discussed anymore. It's a very taboo topic in the town. And so this kid, who's kind of a shit starter, he's an instigator, popular frat boy, he decides he wants to do a project on this game. And his dad is a higher up with the local government, and he gets the go-ahead that, he gets the permission to go into the building and look into the project, and look into the game for his project. And he gets a bunch of local kids to participate, and what he decides to do for his project is he's going to do a web series. that he's going to show online that people will be able to actually watch the game unfold as it did back, however many years ago. And he's got a few tricks up his sleeve for himself in the sense that he's made a few contacts and he's looking to get this webisode turned into an online gaming system. If it goes over well, if he get a big enough response, he's going to make some profit off of it. So he gets this game going. They set up cameras. My character is the technician. I'm the tech guy, and I set up all these cameras in the building. And as the game starts unfolding, the cameras start to go down. I go in to fix the cameras, and we all get locked in the building, and the murder starts to get recreated.
Oh wow!
For real. Yeah,
interesting.
Very fun story. Very cool. We just started filming already. Everything's looking amazing. Great cast. I don't know. I'm so pumped. Yeah, we just debuted the teaser poster actually, and I'll send you a copy of that if you want to post it on your Facebook. It's very eye catching. We had a professional graphic artist do it, a comic book artist, and it's just really really slick poster. I really am a fan of it, and I just think it's a sign of things to come. The quality of this project, it's going to be awesome. I think any fan of the slasher genre is going to dig this for sure.
Yep, I'm a big slasher fan. Big 80s slasher guy, Then
you will love it. Then you will be a fan of Chill.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bud. I had a great time.
No problem. We had a lot of informative stuff here, and hope for the best. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see you out there in Ohio this summer, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, yeah. I know Eddie and Fred, they're going to start filming that project, The Holler. And I know they're really jazzed for this one. I know they got some big tricks up their sleeves. They've got some big plans, so I'm sure it is going to be quite a good time. And I don't know, I can't wait to see what happens with that. Yeah. But yeah, ideally, because I know you're coming out for doing a little cameo in that project, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Awesome,
I don't know what character yet, but I guess we'll find out, huh?
Well, now that Eddie knows that you are that you two are one of a kind, I'm sure she'll write something very outgoing for you. I'm sure you'll have some comedic bits to deal with. So get ready.
Oh, God.
Get ready for Eddie.
Hey, as long as it has something to do with fucking with Don, I'm all for it.
Oh, believe me, when you two minds get together, I'm sure there will be plenty of that.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Awesome, man.